When Emma and I got engaged, I thought I had found my forever. She was everything I thought I wanted: smart, ambitious, beautiful, and charming. We'd been together for nearly 4 years, and even though we had our differences, I believed that love, patience, and compromise would keep us strong. But 3 months before our wedding date, she blindsided me. We were sitting at her parents' dining table after a long day of venue shopping. I was sipping water, exhausted from crunching numbers, and politely saying, "We'll think about it," to every overpriced vendor. Emma's mom was practically glowing while going over extra touches. We needed an ice sculpture, imported flowers, a live harpist for the cocktail hour. I was already sweating thinking about how much the catering alone would cost. That's when Emma suddenly looked straight at me and said in the calmest but coldest voice, "By the way, if you don't double the wedding budget, the wedding's off." At first, I thought she was joking. I even laughed nervously, expecting her to crack a smile. She didn't. Her parents didn't either. Her mom gave me this look like, "You better step up if you want my daughter." I set down my glass slowly. "What do you mean, double the budget? We already agreed on 40,000. That's plenty." Emma crossed her arms. "It's not. The wedding I deserve can't be done for that amount. My friends' weddings were bigger, better, and more elegant. I will not be embarrassed on my special day." Her words stung like poison. "Embarrassed? Since when was this about showing off to your friends?" "It's not showing off," she snapped. "It's about setting a standard. I refuse to start my marriage feeling like I settled." Her dad stayed silent, but her mom chimed in. "It's only right, son. A woman only gets one wedding day. If you truly love her, you'll make it happen." That night I barely slept. For weeks, I had been cutting corners, working extra hours, even selling some of my investments to make the $40,000 budget work. My family wasn't wealthy. Neither was hers. I had already stretched myself thin to create what I thought was a dream wedding. Now, she wanted me to magically come up with another 40 grand? I couldn't stop replaying her words in my head. "The wedding I deserve." The next morning, I decided to test her. I called her and said, "Emma, I've been thinking. You're right. Maybe the budget should be bigger. But if I'm going to double it, we need to sit down and go through every single expense together." Her tone instantly softened. "Oh, babe, I knew you'd understand. You'll see, it'll be worth it." So we made a spreadsheet. Venue upgrades. Imported roses. Designer bridesmaids' dresses. A 5-tier custom cake flown in from New York. The total came to $82,000. My jaw dropped. Then I noticed something odd. Hidden among the expenses were luxury spa packages, jewelry, and even a bridal shopping trip to Paris. I raised an eyebrow. "Emma, why is a $12,000 Paris trip on this list?" She didn't flinch. "Because that's part of the experience. I need to look my best, and the boutiques there are unmatched. Don't you want your fiancé to shine?" That was my breaking point. Instead of arguing, I smiled. "You're right, Emma. You do deserve to shine. Let's go ahead with your plan." Her eyes lit up. She hugged me, kissed me, and called her mom immediately to say, "He's on board." But what she didn't know was that I had a plan of my own. Over the next 2 weeks, I went along with everything, nodding, agreeing, signing vendor interest forms. But quietly, I was pulling out. I canceled contracts under my name. I stopped transferring money into the wedding account. I informed my parents and closest friends about what was happening and told them to keep quiet. Then, 1 week before the final deposit was due, I invited Emma out to dinner at the same restaurant where I had proposed. She came in dressed to the nines, probably expecting a romantic night. I slid a plain envelope across the table. "What's this?" she asked. "Open it." Inside was a check for $5,000 with a note. "This is for the trouble. Consider it my last gift to you." Her face went pale. "What do you mean?" I looked her dead in the eye. "I mean the wedding is off. Not because I won't double the budget. But because I realized I don't want to spend my life with someone who treats marriage like a luxury brand. She gawked at me. You're joking. I shook my head. You said if I didn't double the budget, there would be no wedding. Well, I'm taking you at your word. There is no wedding. She went from shock to fury in seconds. She started hissing insults across the table. You're cheap. You're pathetic. No wonder your family isn't successful. People were staring. I stood up, placed the envelope in front of her, and said quietly, Enjoy Paris. Alone. Then I walked out. The fallout was brutal. Her parents blew up my phone for days, calling me ungrateful, immature, and cruel. Emma plastered social media with posts like, Imagine being dumped because you want a beautiful wedding. Dodged a bullet. Her friends chimed in, painting me as the villain. But here's the twist. 2 months later, I found out Emma did go to Paris, on her parents' dime. She maxed out their credit cards shopping and partying. When she got back, she was engaged again, this time to a banker she had met at a fashion show. People whispered that she only chose him because he flaunted money. Meanwhile, I quietly took the 40 grand I'd been saving and used it as a down payment on a modest house. 6 months later, I started dating someone new, Sophie, a nurse I met through mutual friends. She didn't care about fancy weddings or Paris trips. She cared about long walks, homemade dinners, and laughter. When I told her the story of why I was single, she simply smiled and said, Good. You saved yourself a lifetime of misery, and she was right. Sometimes, losing the wrong person is the best investment you'll ever make.